Was tired. He was always tired. That was just how life worked when you sat in a small gray cubicle for 12 hours every day, staring at numbers on a computer screen. He worked at an accounting firm in Seoul. It was not exciting. It was not fun. But it paid his rent and bought him instant noodles, so he kept doing it. Tonight, like most nights, he was the last one to leave the office. The clock on the wall showed 11:47 p.m. His eyes hurt. His back hurt. His soul hurt a little too, but he tried not to think about that. Packed his bag, turned off his desk lamp, and walked out into the cold night air. The streets were quiet. Most people were already home, sleeping in warm beds. Took his usual shortcut through the small park near his apartment building. The park was dark and empty. Old trees stood like shadows on both sides of the path. Walked quickly, thinking about nothing except his bed. Then he saw it. A line of fire cut across the sky. It was bright orange and moving fast. At first, thought it was a shooting star. But shooting stars did not make noise. This thing roared like thunder. It screamed through the air and crashed into the trees just 50 meters ahead of him. The ground shook. Birds flew away in panic. Smoke rose into the night sky. Stood frozen. His brain told him to run away. His legs did not move. His heart was beating so fast he could hear it in his ears. He should call someone, the police, the fire department, anyone. But instead he walked toward the smoke. He did not know why. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was stupidity. Maybe some part of him was so bored with his normal life that he needed to see something different, even if it killed him. The trees were broken and burned. In the middle of the destruction sat a strange object. It was shaped like a triangle about the size of a small truck. It was made of dark metal that had never seen before. It was not a plane. It was not a helicopter. It was something else. His hands were shaking as he stepped closer. The side of the object had a hole in it, torn open from the crash. Smoke poured out, and through that smoke saw movement. Someone was inside. He ran forward without thinking. He climbed through the broken metal, cutting his hands on sharp edges. The inside of the object was dark and filled with strange lights and symbols he could not understand. And there, lying on the floor, was a woman. But she was not like any woman had ever seen. Her skin was pale silver, almost glowing in the dark. Her hair was white like snow. Her ears were long and pointed, and when she opened her eyes they were bright violet like two purple stars. She looked at with fear and pain. Her arm was bleeding. Strange blue blood dripped onto the floor. She spoke, but her words made no sense. The language was nothing had ever heard. It was soft and musical, but completely foreign. Then something on her wrist blinked with light. A small device like a bracelet. It made a quiet sound, and suddenly her words changed. "Please," she said. Her voice was weak but clear now. "Please help me, hide me, they are coming." Stared at her. His brain was still trying to understand what was happening. An alien. She was an alien. This was a spaceship. He had just walked into a spaceship. "Who is coming?" he asked. His voice sounded strange and far away. Before she could answer, a new sound filled the air. Looked up through the broken roof of the ship. 3 dark shapes were descending from the sky. They were bigger than the crashed ship. They moved without sound, like ghosts made of metal. More ships, more aliens. The woman grabbed his arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong. "Please," she said again. Her purple eyes were full of desperation. "If they find me, they will take me back. I cannot go back. I would rather die." Looked at her. He looked at the ships coming down from the sky. He thought about his boring job, his empty apartment, his lonely life. He had 2 choices. He could run away and pretend this never happened, or he could help a stranger from another world. His mother had always said he made bad decisions. "Can you walk?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "Then come with me, now." He helped her stand. She was taller than him, and she moved strangely, like she was not used to Earth's gravity. but she was strong enough to walk. They climbed out of the broken ship. The three dark vessels were landing in the forest, maybe 200 meters away. Strange lights swept across the trees, searching. Held the woman's hand and ran. He knew these streets. He knew every shortcut, every alley, every shadow. He had walked this path 1,000 times after late nights at work. Now, for the first time, that knowledge might save his life. They ran through the dark park. They crossed the empty street. They climbed over a fence and cut through a construction site. The woman struggled to keep up, but she did not complain. She did not make a sound. Behind them, heard strange voices calling out in that foreign language. The hunters were searching. 5 minutes later, they reached his apartment building, pulled the woman inside, up 4 flights of stairs, and into his tiny studio apartment. He locked the door and turned off all the lights. They stood in the darkness, both breathing hard. Outside the window, could see strange lights moving across the sky, still searching. The woman looked at him. Her violet eyes seemed to glow in the dark. "Thank you," she whispered, leaned against the wall, and tried to catch his breath. "What," he said slowly, "have I gotten myself into?" The woman did not answer. She just looked out the window at the ships hunting for her, and realized that his boring life had just ended forever. The first night was strange. Gave the alien woman his bed and slept on the floor. He did not sleep well. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw those dark ships in the sky. Every small sound made him jump. When morning came, the woman was already awake. She sat by the window, watching the city below with wide, curious eyes. "The yellow light," she said when she noticed was awake. "It comes from the star." "The sun," said, rubbing his tired eyes. "Yes, it rises every morning." "How strange," she said softly. "On my world we have 3 suns. The sky is never dark and never this bright." Made coffee. It was the only thing keeping him alive most days. He poured 2 cups and offered one to the woman. She looked at it with suspicion. She smelled it, her nose wrinkled. "This liquid is very dark," she said. "Is it poison?" "Some people say so," said with a small smile. "But humans drink it every day. It helps us stay awake." She took a tiny sip. Her face twisted in shock. She put the cup down immediately. "It is bitter like death," she said, "and it makes my heart beat too fast. How do you drink this?" "Practice," said. He drank his entire cup in 3 gulps. The woman stared at him like he had just eaten fire. Over the next 2 days, learned many things about his unexpected guest. Her name was Lyra. She was a princess of something called the Empire, which controlled 12 star systems far from Earth. Her people were advanced and powerful. They had traveled through space for thousands of years. But even powerful empires had problems. A warlord named had risen to power. He was cruel and hungry for control. To make himself legitimate, he wanted to marry Lyra. If he married a princess, he could claim the throne when her father died. Lyra refused, so she ran. She stole a small ship and fled into space, sent his best soldiers after her. They chased her across 3 star systems. Her ship was damaged in a battle near a planet called Mars. She crashed on Earth by accident. "I did not mean to come here," she admitted. "Your planet is considered primitive, no offense." "None taken," said dryly. "We still argue about what shape the Earth is." Lyra did not understand the joke. She continued her story. Her ship's emergency beacon was broken. Her people did not know where she was. Commander, the soldier hunting her, would not stop until he found her. He was loyal to and cared only about completing his mission. "So you are stuck here," said, "with no way to call for help while killers from space search for you." "Yes," Lyra said. "I am sorry I involved you. You should not have helped me. I have put you in danger." Thought about this. She was right. He should have walked away that night in the park. He should have pretended he saw nothing. Now he was hiding an alien princess in his tiny apartment while space soldiers hunted outside. But he did not regret it. Too late now, he said. Let's figure out how to fix your beacon. Lyra seemed surprised by his response. In the following days, she watched carefully, like he was a puzzle she could not solve. She noticed that he slept only 4 or 5 hours each night. On her world, people slept for 12 hours at minimum. Less than that caused sickness and death. How are you alive? She asked. Stubbornness answered. She noticed that he ate food that would kill, spicy noodles, fermented vegetables, raw fish wrapped in seaweed. He drank coffee like it was water. Your species consumes poison for pleasure, she observed. We call it flavor, said. She noticed that he adapted to her presence almost immediately. Most species needed weeks to accept the existence of alien life. Their minds broke under the pressure. They became scared, violent, or crazy. Just made her breakfast and asked about her planet. You are not afraid of me, Lyra said one evening. Why? Shrugged. I spend 50 hours a week in a cubicle doing math that nobody cares about. I eat lunch alone every day. I have not taken a vacation in 3 years. Honestly, an alien princess is the most interesting thing that has ever happened to me. Lyra did not know what to say to this. On the third day, trouble found them. Was coming home from buying groceries when he saw two strange figures standing at the corner of his street. They wore long coats and hats that hid their faces, but they stood too still. They watched too carefully, and their skin, where it showed, had a faint silver shine. His heart dropped. He walked past them calmly, not looking at them. He went around the block, entered his building through the back door, and ran up the stairs. They found us, he said when he burst into the apartment. We have to leave now. Lyra's face went pale. Soldiers, they must have tracked my biosignature. Can you hide it? Not without proper equipment. The signal comes from my body itself. Grabbed his phone and called the only person he trusted. Answered on the third ring. She was his. They sat near each other in the office. She was sharp, sarcastic, and never believed anything without proof. I need help, said quickly. I know this will sound crazy. Please just listen. He told her everything. The crash, the alien, the hunters. There was a long silence. Are you having a mental breakdown? Asked. Because I warned you about those energy drinks. I am completely serious. I need you to bring your car to my building, back entrance, right now. Another silence. If this is a joke, I will never forgive you, said. Then she hung up. 20 minutes later, a small blue car pulled up behind the building, and Lyra ran out through the back door. Saw Lyra. She saw the silver skin, the pointed ears, the purple eyes. Her mouth fell open. Get in, she said weakly. Get in before I start screaming. They climbed into the car, drove away just as two figures in long coats came around the corner, searching. Where are we going? Asked. Her voice was shaking. Looked at Lyra. Your ship, can we fix the beacon? Maybe, Lyra said, if the core is not completely destroyed. Then that is where we are going, said. He gave directions to the forest. Behind them, dark shapes began to rise into the sky. The chase had begun. They did not get far. Drove fast through the afternoon traffic, but three dark shapes followed them in the sky. They moved without sound, tracking the car like predators following wounded prey. They are still behind us, Lyra said, looking out the back window. I know, said through gritted teeth. I can see them in my mirror. This is insane. This is completely insane. Stay calm, said. Stay calm. There are spaceships chasing my car. I have a payment due on this car next month. Ahead, traffic stopped completely. A red light, too many vehicles, they were trapped. One of the dark ships descended toward the ground. It landed in the middle of the street, crushing a parked motorcycle. People screamed and ran. Car horns blared. 3 soldiers stepped out of the ship. They were tall and lean, with silver skin and black armor. They carried weapons that glowed with strange energy. Out of the car, said, "Now." They abandoned the vehicle and ran into the nearest building. It was a shopping mall. Hundreds of people walked around, buying clothes and food, unaware of the danger outside. "We need to disappear," said, "blend into the crowd." "I cannot blend in," Lyra said, pointing at her own face. "I look nothing like humans." Thought quickly. He pulled Lyra into a clothing store and grabbed a long coat, a hat, and a pair of sunglasses. "Put these on," he said. "Keep your head down, do not talk." Lyra dressed quickly. With the hat covering her ears and the sunglasses hiding her purple eyes, she looked almost normal. Almost. They moved through the mall, trying to walk like regular shoppers. Hands were shaking, but she kept moving, led them toward the subway entrance at the back of the building. Behind them he heard a commotion, screaming, glass breaking. The soldiers had entered the mall. "Faster," he said. They reached the subway station and pushed through the crowd, used his transit card to pay for all three of them. They ran down the stairs just as a train was closing its doors. Shoved Lyra and through the gap. He jumped in after them, the doors closed, the train started moving. Through the window, saw the three soldiers reach the platform. They stood there, watching the train disappear into the dark tunnel. For a moment everyone was quiet, they just breathed. "What now?" asked Weekly. "We keep moving," said. "We change trains, we make them confused, then we find a way to the forest." The Seoul subway system was a maze. Knew it well. He had spent years riding these trains to and from work. He knew which lines connected, which stations were crowded, which tunnels were long and dark. For the next 2 hours, they played a game of chase through the underground city. They took the green line north, then transferred to the purple line going east. They got off at a busy station and walked through underground shopping areas filled with thousands of people. The hunters followed, but they were confused. The crowd was too thick. The noise was too loud. There were too many humans, all moving in different directions. The soldiers' scanning equipment could not pick out Lyra's signal through all the interference. At one point, saw a soldier just 10 meters away. The creature was holding its head, clearly in pain. Its eyes darted around wildly. "What is wrong with him?" Lyra whispered. "Sensory overload," guessed. "Your people come from a quiet world with dim light. This place is the opposite." The subway was loud. Announcements blared from speakers. Vendors shouted about their products. Music played from every store. Trains roared through tunnels every 2 minutes. The lights were bright and constant. For humans, this was normal. For the soldiers, it was torture. They pushed through another crowd and caught a train heading south. Then they transferred again, going west. The soldiers fell further and further behind. Finally, after hours of running, they emerged at a quiet station near the edge of the city. It was getting dark outside. The sun was setting behind the mountains. "Is it over?" asked, leaning against a wall. She looked exhausted. "Not yet," said. "We still need to reach the ship." "How they have my car. They are watching the roads." Thought about this. Then he saw an old man selling vegetables from a small truck parked nearby. 10 minutes later, they were sitting in the back of the vegetable truck, hiding between boxes of cabbages and radishes. Had paid the old man a generous amount of money and told him they were hiding from an angry ex-boyfriend. The old man did not ask questions. He just drove. As the truck bumped along the dark road toward the forest, Lyra looked at with something like wonder. "You are very clever," she said. "On my world, we plan for months before taking action. We analyze every possibility. We calculate every outcome. You just act." "Thinking too much slows you down," said. "Sometimes you just have to move." "It is terrifying," Lyra admitted, "but also impressive." Groaned from her corner. "I cannot believe this is my life now. I was going to watch a drama tonight. I had snacks prepared." "You can watch dramas in space," said. "I am not going to space." "We will see." The truck drove deeper into the night. Somewhere behind them, Commander was studying reports from his soldiers. They had lost the princess in the subway chaos. They had underestimated the humans. Did not make the same mistake twice. He sent a message to his ship in orbit. "Send everyone," he ordered. "Surround the forest. The princess will try to reach her ship. We will be waiting." He looked at the footage from the subway. The human male appeared in almost every frame, leading the princess through the crowd, making decisions instantly, never stopping. "Interesting," said quietly. "Perhaps these primitives are not as simple as we thought." He prepared for the final confrontation. In the back of the vegetable truck, watched the stars through a gap in the canvas cover. Somewhere up there were ships waiting to catch them. But they had made it this far, and was not planning to stop now. The truck stopped at the edge of the forest. The old driver was too scared to go further. He said the road ahead felt wrong. He said his bones told him danger was waiting. Thanked him and gave him extra money. Then he watched the truck drive away, leaving them alone in the darkness. The forest was silent, too silent, no birds, no insects, nothing. "They are here," Lyra said quietly. Her violet eyes scanned the trees. "I can feel it." "How many?" asked. "Many, maybe 20 soldiers, maybe more." Looked at the two women, was an accountant. Lyra was injured and tired. He was just an office worker with no special skills. They had no weapons, no backup, and no real plan. But they had come too far to quit now. "Show me where your ship is," said. They moved through the trees slowly and carefully. Lyra led the way, following some memory or instinct that did not understand. After 20 minutes of walking, they saw it. The crashed ship sat in a clearing, surrounded by broken trees. But now it was also surrounded by soldiers. At least 15 warriors stood guard, their weapons ready. Lights from their equipment lit up the area like daylight. And standing in front of the ship was a tall figure in a long black coat. His silver skin was darker than the others, almost gray. His eyes were cold and empty. "Commander." "There she is," said loudly, his voice carrying through the silent forest. "Princess Lyra, your running is over." Lyra stepped forward, tried to stop her, but she shook her head. "Let me talk to him," she whispered. "Maybe I can distract him while you think of something." She walked into the clearing, her hands raised, watched her with a small, cruel smile. "Warlord sends his greetings," said. "He is eager for your return. The wedding has been delayed long enough." "I will never marry that monster," Lyra said. Her voice was steady, even though could see her hands shaking. "You do not have a choice, princess. Your opinion does not matter. Only your bloodline matters, only your title." While they talked, studied the situation, the soldiers were spread out in a circle around the ship. Their weapons were focused on Lyra. Nobody was paying attention to the dark forest behind them. He also noticed something else. The soldiers were wearing dark glasses, even at night. Their ears had small devices attached to them. They were protecting themselves from bright light and loud sound. Remembered what happened in the subway. The chaos, the noise, the overload that confused them. An idea formed in his mind. A crazy, stupid, desperate idea. He grabbed and pulled her behind a thick tree. "I need your phone," he whispered. "Why?" "Do you have a speaker, a portable one?" Stared at him. "In my bag, I bring it to work sometimes." "Why?" "Give it to me, and the car keys." "My car is back in the city." "But the emergency kit is in there. Flares. Do you have flares in your bag?" His eyes went wide. She was starting to understand. "You want to blind them," she said, "with light and sound. They cannot handle it. We saw that in the subway. If I can create enough chaos, you can get Lyra to the ship. She can activate the beacon." "And what about you?" Did not answer. He took the phone, the small speaker, and the 2 emergency flares always carried in her bag. She was prepared for everything. He had always teased her about it. Now it might save them. "Wait for my signal," he said. "When the chaos starts, run to the ship. Do not stop, do not look back." Then he was already moving through the trees, circling around the soldiers. In the clearing, Lyra was still talking too. She was buying time, even though she did not know what for. "Your people will never accept," she said. "He is a butcher, not a king." "They will accept whoever sits on the throne," replied. "That is how power works. You should have learned that by now." Reached a position behind the soldiers. He was close enough to see the details on their armor. His heart was beating so hard he was afraid they might hear it. He connected his phone to the speaker. He turned the volume to maximum. He loaded a video he had saved for no particular reason, a compilation of loud car horns, explosions, and screaming crowds. He had found it funny once. Now it was a weapon. He pressed play. The noise erupted from the speaker like an explosion. The soldiers spun around, their hands flying to their ears. Their dark glasses did nothing to protect them from the sound. They stumbled and crashed into each other. At the same time, lit both flares and threw them into the clearing. Bright red light flooded the area. The soldiers screamed. Their sensitive eyes could not handle it. They fell to their knees, covering their faces. Now shouted, grabbed Lyra and ran toward the ship. The injured soldiers tried to stop them, but they were blind and deaf. The two women pushed past them easily. Did not fall. He was older, stronger, more experienced. He managed to close his eyes and cover his ears. And when he opened them again, he saw standing 10 meters away, holding nothing but an empty bag. "You," growled, "the human, you did this." "I did," said. Walked toward him. His movements were slow and predatory. He was taller than, stronger than, faster than. He was a trained warrior from a civilization that had conquered star systems. Was an accountant who skipped leg day at the gym. But he did not run. They fought, if you could call it fighting. Hit him once, twice, 3 times. Fell down, he got up. He fell down again, he got up again. Every time he fell, he stood back up. Was getting frustrated, confused. On his world, creatures knew when they were beaten. They surrendered, they gave up. This human just kept standing. "Why?" demanded, hitting him again. "Why do you not stay down?" Spit blood onto the ground. His left eye was swelling shut. His ribs were probably broken. "I work 50 hours a week," he said, breathing hard. "I commute 2 hours every day. I eat cheap noodles for dinner. I sleep 4 hours and wake up to do it again. Do you know what that is?" Did not answer. "Training," said with a bloody smile, "for this exact moment." Behind them, the crashed ship's beacon activated. A loud hum filled the air. A light shot up into the sky. Lyra and had done it. High above Earth, a hidden rebel ship received the signal. Its captain gave the order. They began their descent. Looked up at the sky. He saw the flash of a ship entering the atmosphere. He looked back at, who was still standing, still bleeding, still refusing to fall. "What are you?" whispered. "Human," said simply. "We do not know when to quit." The rebel ship broke through the clouds like a star falling to Earth. Help had arrived. The rebel ship landed with a sound like thunder. It was beautiful, silver and gold, shaped like a bird in flight, twice the size of any building had ever seen. Its doors opened and soldiers in white armor poured out, weapons raised. Its forces never had a chance. Half of them were still blind from the flares. The other half were confused and scattered. The rebels took them down in minutes. Himself fought hard. He was a warrior to the end. But when 5 rebel soldiers surrounded him, even he knew it was over. He dropped his weapon and raised his hands. "This is not finished," he said as they put restraints on his wrists. "We'll send others. He will never stop hunting her." Nobody answered him. They just took him away. Watched all of this from the ground where he had finally collapsed. His body had given up even if his mind had not. Everything hurt. His vision was blurry. He was pretty sure he was going to die. Then soft hands touched his face. Lyra knelt beside him, her purple eyes full of tears. Real tears. They were silver like liquid starlight. "You fool," she said softly. "You incredible fool. Why did you fight him? You could have run, you could have hidden." "You needed time," mumbled. "I gave you time. You almost gave your life." Tried to shrug, but even that hurt. Would not have been much of a life anyway, just spreadsheets and instant noodles. Lyra laughed through her tears. It was a beautiful sound. The rebel medics arrived. They had technology could not understand. They waved strange devices over his body. They injected him with something that glowed blue. The pain started to fade almost immediately. "He will recover," one of the medics said. "Minor fractures, internal bruising, nothing permanent. His species is remarkably durable." "I told you," mumbled, "training." They carried him onto the rebel ship. The inside was warm and bright, filled with technology that looked like magic. Lay on a soft bed while machines hummed around him, healing his wounds. Sat in a corner, looking completely overwhelmed. A rebel soldier had offered her a drink. She held it in her hands but did not drink it. "This is too much," she said quietly. "Aliens, spaceships, intergalactic war, I just wanted to watch my drama." Laughed. It hurt his ribs, but he laughed anyway. A tall man in elegant robes entered the room. He had silver skin and white hair like Lyra, but he was older, with lines on his face and wisdom in his eyes. "Princess," he said, bowing to Lyra, "we received your beacon. The rebellion is honored to have you safe." Lyra embraced him. "General Han, I never thought I would see you again. Your father sent us to find you. He never gave up hope. Claims the throne, but the people know the truth. They are waiting for you to return." Watched this reunion quietly. He was happy for Lyra. She had found her people. She had a purpose, a family, a fight worth fighting. He was just a visitor in her world. The healing machines finished their work, sat up slowly. His body felt strange, better than before, actually. The aliens had fixed things he did not even know were broken. Lyra came to sit beside him. The general and others had left to prepare the ship for departure. "We will leave soon," she said. "The longer we stay in one place, the more danger we bring to your planet, has spies everywhere." "I understand," said. "You could come with us." The words hung in the air like stars. Stared at her. "What?" "Come with us," Lyra said again. Her purple eyes were serious. "You have proven yourself more than any warrior I have ever met. You are brave. You are clever. You adapt instantly. These qualities are rare even among my people, especially among my people." "I am just an accountant," said weakly. "You are more than that. You always were. You just did not know it yet." Looked at his hands. They were clean now, the cuts healed by alien technology. He thought about his apartment, his cubicle, his lonely dinners. He thought about the years stretching ahead of him, each one the same as the last. Then he thought about the stars. "I would be leaving everything behind," he said. "What exactly would you be leaving?" The question was simple, but the answer was complicated. What would he be leaving? His job. He hated his job. His apartment. It was a small box with bad heating. His family. His parents had retired to the countryside. He called them once a month. They would barely notice he was gone. The only person who would truly miss him was sitting in the corner, still holding her untouched drink. He said. Looked up. She already knew what was happening. She had always been the smart one. "Go," she said. Her voice cracked, but she smiled. "Go, you idiot. When else are you going to get a chance like this? What will you tell the office?" Laughed. "That you finally had a breakdown. Very believable. I have been predicting it for years." "Will you be okay?" Stood up and walked over to him. She hugged him tightly, which was strange because she never hugged anyone. "I will be fine," she whispered. "I will watch my dramas. I will do my taxes. I will live my normal life. But sometimes I will look up at the stars and I will wonder where you are and I will smile. Hugged her back. He did not trust his voice to speak. When they finally let go, wiped her eyes roughly. Now go before I change my mind and beg you to stay. She walked off the ship without looking back. The rebel soldiers let her pass. They even gave her a device that would erase the location of the landing site from her memory. She would remember everything else, but she would not be able to lead anyone here. Watched her disappear into the dark forest, his best friend, his only friend, gone. Lyra took his hand. "Are you ready?" she asked. Looked at her. Then he looked at the sky visible through the ship's windows. So many stars, so many worlds, so many adventures waiting. "No," he said honestly, "but let us go anyway." The ship rose into the air. Earth grew smaller below them. Watched his planet shrink from a world to a ball to a dot to nothing at all. Then they jumped to light speed, and everything became streaks of color too beautiful to describe. General Han stood beside them on the bridge. "Welcome to the rebellion, human," he said. "Your people have a reputation for being primitive, but I have read the reports of what you did tonight. Perhaps we have underestimated your species." Smiled, "We get that a lot." Lyra squeezed his hand. "In my culture, there is a word for someone who saves a life. It creates a bond that cannot be broken. You saved me. That makes us connected forever." "Good," said, "because I have no idea what I am doing, and I am going to need a lot of help." Lyra laughed again, that beautiful starlight laugh. Somewhere behind them, Earth continued spinning. People went to work. They sat in cubicles. They drank coffee and ate instant noodles and dreamed of something more. And one of them had found it. Among the stars, closed his eyes and smiled. His boring life was officially over. The adventure had just begun.